Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Hello, I'm John Dickmeyer. Welcome to Potpourri. Hello, Randy.
Hi, John.
Self-defense.
Yes, sir.
No, you're Sensei. Self-defense is what you teach. Everybody welcome Steve Basche of Basche's Martial Arts. Steve, we'll get started here. How did you get started in martial arts?
I first initially started in Colorado. I believe it was in 1979, 1980, on the Army base. My dad was stationed in Fort Carson, and then we relocated back to Fort Bragg. So, and then I continued my studies there as well.
So, military folks or folks related to the military taught you initially, or was it independent?
Yes, sir. My grandfather was in the military, my dad was in the military, and I started initially on the Army base, and I continued my studies in Fort Bragg after Fort Carson. We stayed in Fort Carson for about a year. And then we moved back to my hometown, Fort Bragg, and I continued to train. And then when I was 16, we moved to Fort Lauderdale, and I trained under Grandmaster Jung-Soo Park, which is a Korean Grandmaster, and Grandmaster Pellegrini.
And that gets us to something else that everyone wants to know. What brand of martial arts do you teach?
The foundation art is Taekwondo. Taekwondo means foot fist art. It's actually Korean karate. A lot of people don't realize it. They think karate and Taekwondo is separate. But the only difference is Taekwondo is karate combined with a kicking art called Taekyon. And that's what Taekwondo is. It's more kicking than punching. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You do now.
I do now. I do now. Do you think that, some people say, well, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm this, I'm that. Do you think martial arts is for anybody?
Yes, ma'am. It's never too late. I've got a guy that just graduated. His name is Mike Peden. He started martial arts when he was 63, 68 now, and he's a black belt. He's actually teaching a class for me right now as an instructor while I'm here, covering for me.
So when you have students, what makes a good student?
A good student is someone that practices what I teach them, because the only way you can get better and evolve is to put knowledge into action. So I make sure my students, when I teach them, let's say something simple like clean your room, say yes ma'am and yes sir to mom and dad, they have to practice that. That way it becomes autonomic. And the only way this is developed is, practice. Practice makes perfect. And I do follow up too as well to make sure the kids are cleaning their rooms and listening to the parents. They have to practice these things in order to graduate to their next belt level. It's not just the physical training, it's also the character development aspect that we practice too, we work on.
So the benefits of martial arts exceeds the physical. Can you explain that?
Yes, sir. Martial arts has been around for 1,500 years before the birth of Christ, and the reason for that is the character development aspect of it, and as well as the physical discipline. It's a mental discipline, and then we do the spirituality also as well. I do teach Christian principles at my school. I don't push it. I just tell people to pray to God, or I tell them to pray to their God so it's comfortable, to mentally envision their goals, and to physically actualize and work hard, and anything's possible. So if you apply those 3 principles, anything's possible, and that's pretty much my philosophy there at the dojo.
So I can see there's a lot of benefits at all ages, including the parents, that you got the kids cleaning their room. That would be a benefit.
Oh, it is.
I should have known him a long time ago. So with that thought process, you're talking not just the punching and the kicking. It's like you have a philosophy that goes along with the martial arts. What's your philosophy of life?
My philosophy is to go with the flow. Don't resist so much, because life, you've always got contradictions in life. If you can learn to flow and accept contradictions, you'll have peace of mind. It's our expectations that we have that causes turmoil when things don't happen the way we want them to. So if we can learn to flow, we have peace. And when we have peace, we're happy. And when we're happy and we're thinking positive, what do we manifest positive in our life? And that's what it's all about. You have to have peace before anything. That's what I tell my students. It's not outside in. So many people are focused on, the nice car, the nice house. I have to go out and get retail therapy to be happy, and this and that. It'll never make you happy. You'll be happy for a day or two, then guess what? You want something else. The ego always wants more. And what I try to teach my students, and I live by this myself, is you have to be content with who you are and with what you are first. You have to be at peace before you can enjoy anything externally. It all comes from the internal.
And that's the heart of Christian and Jewish religious belief, that inner development, that being right with God is the first thing that you do, and that creates peace within the soul.
And that's the beautiful thing about not just accepting life and flowing, but when you do the physical discipline, you're training and you're sweating and you're releasing those endorphins, you can't help but feel positive. Your mind's more still, like it says in the Bible, be still and know God. So that's the beautiful thing about my program. Okay, I train these guys, it's real high energy. You had mentioned this before, John. I take them up real high, get them going, and then we cool down. These kids are smiling at the end of class. They want to hear what I have to say, and they're focused. And then I can preach that, And again, I don't push it too much. I just say, put God first, think positive, respect your parents. It's like I'm planting these seeds in their mind, and then eventually what happens? It's just like a garden. When you plant a seed, what happens? Eventually you manifest this beautiful harvest. And that's my goal. My goal is to leave a legacy and to help as many people as I can from the inside out.
And I can testify to that. Several of us went to Basche Martial Arts grand opening, and as a part of the grand opening, there was a class. It's exactly as Steve says. He works these folks hard, but he cools them down at the end so that everything ends in a very peaceful way. You can imagine, as a parent, Randy, what that's like for a parent after one of these classes. And the parents will say, wow, what did you do to my kid? And I think that's for me, I think that's the real benefit for your work with kids. But you don't only work with kids. You do some wonderful self-defense things with women and teach women self-defense help. Can you talk a bit about that?
Sure. Yes, I do teach self-defense, and the reason I do this because I feel it's very, very important, especially nowadays with the crime rate the way it is and everything else. And it seems like so many people live in fear. And the beautiful thing about martial arts is when you're training, you know, you 9 times out of 10 you'll never have to use it because you're projecting positive energy, you're exuding strength and confidence, you carry yourself differently. And it's amazing. These ladies have peace of mind. They feel like they can defend themselves if something was to happen. And if someone ever does attack, they'll be able to react, with a peace of mind autonomically the right way instead of tensing up in fear. And that's the main thing I focus on with the ladies. You have to, even if you come, to one class a month, make sure, to like a special self-defense class, make sure you're repping things out. If you don't continue, make sure you're repping these techniques out over and over and over. So if you are confronted, you're going to react precisely without thought. When you think too much in a stressful situation, it's over. You're thinking too much. You freeze up, you're tense. So what I tell these ladies to do is to yell loud, because this does many things. It projects a lot of power and energy. It attracts attention. Plus, it intimidates. You ever try to pick up a cat and it starts to hiss and scratch? You let it go. You drop it. Well, we're stronger than a house cat. So if you're screaming loud and you're punching and you're kicking, this guy's going to flee. He's going to run. So those are the main things that I focus on. It's more of a scientific approach in that class. How to attract the attention, how to act crazy, vital areas to strike. Because they're not going to be Bruce Lee in one class. My main focus is, the awareness, how to get out of a situation if you find yourself in one, how to create that window. And that's my main focus with a few basic self-defense techniques.
You just mentioned Bruce Lee, and that leads me to another question. There are different levels of professionalism in martial arts, in each type of discipline within martial arts. Can you explain that a bit?
Sure, like the formalities and everything that we do.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, well, what we do is when you walk in, the children and the adults, they have to bow in. It shows respect to the school. It's a formality. When there's parents sitting in the lobby, they have to walk over and say, "Hello, ma'am." They have to show respect, give compliments. We have our kids offer waters to new people that come in and watch and observe. So it's all about respect and showing that, positive attitude and positive character all the time, 100% of the time. If they see a piece of paper on the floor, they have to pick it up. That's what we call spot checking. They have to constantly purify their life, not just their mind with their attitude, the inside, but also the external, the outside, keeping their rooms clean, smiling at people. It's all about perfection of character, and that's what we focus on. Was that the correct answer? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, I think that's what I would call baseline. That's what you expect of each student. But then as you graduate up,
okay,
there are levels of proficiency.
Yeah, so we have a basic level, which we focus on a word at white, yellow, orange, green. That's all basic. And they have to perfect a certain word and a philosophy. Let's say white belt is purify, yellow belt is focus. They have to master a word. Once they get past the basic level, they go to the intermediate, and then there's a new curriculum, and philosophy, and then advanced expert. It's a step-by-step process.
As you were talking about these kids, I want to kind of go back a little bit. Isn't it just not kids, it's adults too? Bullying is a big thing. I mean, that's out there, and a lot of people just don't know how to handle it. How can what you do help someone in a case of bullying?
A lot of the times I'll tell them to carry themselves with confidence, chest out, chin up. May I demonstrate something? Okay.
Yes.
Take your mic off. No, or stand right there.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
If you walk like this right here projects negative energy, okay, and low self-esteem. So a lot of bullies are attracted to this. What I tell my students to do, and Shane will tell you, always chest out, chin up, look straight ahead. Never turn side to side because this looks nervous too. Look straight ahead and use your peripheral vision around you. Okay, this is what God gave us. And then just walk like this. Not overly like cocky. This is bad because this is insecurity too. So this is no good. This is no good. You want to stand straight. Chest out, chin up, smile, project positive energy, and walk. This is confidence. This is what it's all about. And 9 times out of 10, this would deflect any type of negativity away from you. If you have to defend yourself, then there's the next step. So
It's interesting. Years ago, I took a self-defense class, and that was one of the things that they told us as women to stand tall and look confident. That by itself can keep people away from you because you're paying attention.
yes, ma'am.
So anyway,
If
interesting.
you walk like you know where you're going, like when you're walking to the car more briskly, that it's going to show, hey, this lady knows where she's going. She's focused. It deflects any type of negativity. You know, when you're looking like this looks scared. So, and if you do ever have a situation, just remember to scream loud, punch and kick. That is your best weapon right there.
I'm pretty soft-spoken, but I figure I could do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like to try one?
No.
No? May I show you a simple technique?
No. You could show it on him. But I do have a question for you, or a comment. With the kids bullying, I mean, kids, young adults, they're killing themselves because of the bullying. I think it's wonderful that you offer something that can help them realize they don't have to take that, but yet they don't have to be out there fighting with their fists. And that kind of makes me think of another thing is a lot of people look at martial arts as violent and wrong, and if you put your children in that, you're encouraging them to be the bully and to take out the kids. How would you respond to that?
It's the total opposite. If you look at any professionals, like boxers, MMA guys, a lot of those guys outside of the ring are very nice, polite, respectful men. MMA and boxing, yeah, it's a little bit more aggressive. I teach more of a defensive, so you have defensive and offensive martial arts. My main focus, like I said again, is the character development aspect of it. So, and the more you grow in this, and the more confidence you have, the less apt you would be attacked. So,
I really applaud you for doing that.
thank you.
I really do, because
And as far as I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say I've seen bullying in action, and it's terrible. It's just terrible.
And when you're saying the suicide, what that is, people are very sensitive. A lot of people. There's people out there that are so sensitive you'd never know it. They just hide it real well. When people say words, it's so powerful, and they take that in, the negative words from the bullies or on the internet, and they keep listening to these negative words and negative over and over. You build this, it starts from a small mass, internal mass, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in their mind, and eventually what happens? That quiet kid gets upset, you know what I'm saying? He attacks someone, he brings a gun to school. So the beautiful thing about martial arts is when you're training, you're releasing that, you're sweating. You're getting rid of all that negative energy. I'm planting positive seeds. I'm telling you to tell yourself you can handle it. Just, tell yourself you can handle it. Tell yourself you're strong. Tell yourself you're confident. And what this is doing is building up more positive instead of negative internally. And that's where it starts, inside. out, not outside in. That's why words are so powerful.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah.
And what I think is great is you let them get that out, but then you bring them down.
Yeah, and then you breathe and you relax.
Because it's just like kids when they're out playing and wrestling and being normal kids. You know, then they come home and they're all excited and making all kinds of noise, and it's like, settle down. But see, you're already doing that for them, and you're teaching them outlets.
It's all about balance. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That leads us to a manifestation that a lot of kids and adults have these days, and it's called ADHD. And, you know, the question says, how about kids and adults with ADHD? I think I already know the answer, but why don't you answer the question?
Well, ADHD, a lot of that is they just have extra energy, extra creative ideas. They're here, they're there. They have this built-up anxiety. That's why you hear about these kids in class throwing paper or pulling a girl's hair next to them. They just have a lot of energy they don't know what to do with. And the beautiful thing about martial arts is we take that energy, and I'll even tell them in class, whatever's bothering you, okay, something, you know, like I'll tell the adults, if you're stressed out about bills, throw it out, punch harder. You know, if you're stressed out a bit about this or that, or if the kids, oh, you're so overwhelmed with homework, here's your time to release it. Just yell and release it and throw it out. And by doing that, you're sweating, you're releasing endorphins, you're getting rid of all that negative energy, and you feel so pure. You know what I'm saying? You just feel so calm. You go from an anxious energy to, oh, I don't know what to do, my focus is everywhere, to a pure energy, a calm energy. Like you're energized, you feel great, it's a positive, calm energy, and you're focused, and you have peace of mind. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And then when you add God into that, and then you cool down and you still their mind, they're sweating, they're smiling. All of them are smiling. Come watch my class, they're doing this. And then their mind is still, and then you say, put God first. You know what I'm saying? Tell yourself every day and every way we're getting better and better. And by doing these affirmations over and over, we're reprogramming their mind like a computer. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. If we could do this to every kid in this society and every school, imagine how much better, you know, things would be.
Can you imagine, you know, they have phys ed in school. Can you imagine if part of that curriculum included what you offer?
I would love to do that. Chuck Norris, if you ever see this, let's work together, because that was his goal. I think
really?
he started to incorporate that, and then you never heard anything about it. So I don't know if he's still doing it, but his goal was to do it all over the nation, a martial arts program, because he believed in it so much.
And imagine, I mean, imagine the violence that you see in school, how that would decrease. Obviously, you're not going to get rid of it, but certainly it would get better.
When you go to my school, this is the beautiful thing about this. Shane will tell you, John's witnessed this. We have all different nationalities there. There's no cliques, there's no separation. We're all one big family. Everybody loves everyone. It's amazing. When you look over and you see a Filipino kid hugging an African American kid, or, you know, I've got a Croatian family coming over, giving me hugs, saying how much they love my program. It's a beautiful thing. It gives me goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it's all about. We're all one. We're all, you know, we're all equal. And we should all be accepted and loved for that. And that's what I try to project at my school.
Well, what you said, it's a positive environment, and there's so much negativity out there that the kids experience at home, at school. You know, how many parents say, well, you're just so stupid.
Exactly.
How cruel is that, and how awful is that to that child's future? You're offering a positive outlet for these, not just kids, but adults.
Exactly.
I think it's wonderful. So here's a question. How does somebody join your school?
All they do is give us a call. May I mention the number?
We'll actually put that on
Okay.
the screen. Put that wonderful number
There it
there.
is.
Yeah, give us a call. I'll give you a month of karate, anyone that wants to come out for free. Just to come out and try it. It's just like driving a car. You want to drive the car before you buy it. Well, come in and experience my class. I promise you, you will leave there with a different perception. It's a very positive thing to do for you or your child. Please come out. 1 free month.
He had something to demonstrate.
Wow. Yeah, we're we're
fun
up to
time,
demonstrating, and
Okay, this one self-defense technique, this is, common, unfortunately. Someone puts a gun to your head. A lot of the times if someone puts a gun to your head, they're going to say something. Like, give me your credit card or give me your money. So let's say Shane says, give me your money. Give me your money. When he's saying, give me your money, I'm right here.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I've already got a lock on him. When he decides to try to pull away, I don't care how big this guy is, if I apply pressure as hard as I can for 2 seconds, he's going to take a nap. Okay? Now, I would never do this. I would never do this. You have to be very, very careful because let's say it's someone that thinks you're looking at his girlfriend or some drunk guy approaching you. If I do this in this type of situation and I choke someone out and knock them out, I'm going to go to jail. This is a life and death situation. If I feel like my life is in danger, someone's attacking me and I have my daughter. Okay? Or you can do, this is called defense without fighting. So this is a different situation. Let's say, again, it's a drunk guy. He approaches, he says, what are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
Okay, he gets in my face, he tells me he's going to beat me up. Now, what happens if I do this, John? And I hit him as hard as I can, he's flying across the room, and he's on the ground doing this. I go to jail. So instead, I control the situation without fighting, and this is really good for a bully situation. Even if I'm in school and this kid says, give me your lunch money.
Give me your lunch money.
Okay, very simple. I'm going to push-pull, spin him around, and push. Push him away. Then I step back and say, leave me alone. I've created distance. My body language says what? When there's 500 kids in the lunchroom. I'm the good guy. I'm trying to avoid this. I've created distance, so if he does rush in, he looks like the aggressor if I have to defend myself. Make sense? Or you've got another situation. Let's say I'm on an airplane. You never know, right? I'm in the aisle. This guy tries to take it down. I can spin here and choke him out. I've got a nice choke on him. 2 seconds, out. So there's so much you can do in these situations. So I would show you some kicks, but my pants are too tight. But this is my amazing student, Shane Grantham. He's awesome.
Yay, Shane!
Thank you. Thank you, Shane.
So we have a minute,
All right.
okay? Thank you for that demonstration. Is there anything you'd like to say to someone who's considering martial arts, but they're still not sure?
I think the best way, like I said, is to experience it. If you're concerned about quality instruction, I ask that you look around, go to other karate schools in the area, come to my school, just see for yourself, And if it feels comfortable with me or anyone else, do it. Follow up. Martial arts is great for everyone, especially if they have a great teacher, and it can be anyone.
martial arts is great, but we've come to the end of what we're doing. And I thank you for being here.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
John Dickmeyer, and this has been Potpourri.
Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Hello, I'm John Dickmeyer. Welcome to Potpourri. You're Randy.